Welcome to Everyday Life. Thank you for joining our podcast, Conversations Over Coffee. My name is Jen.
And I'm Dagda.
And we're going to hit you with the explicit content warning right off the bat. This podcast does include adult situations and adult language from time to time.
I'm an angel. I never fucking cuss.
Okay. Anyways, you ready to go?
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's go.
Any fucking way.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. How you doing?
Really excited. This is really good water. That sounded really morbid. Water's delicious. No. This redacted brand water has a retro rocket ice pop, and it's pretty good. It tastes just like a rocket pop.
Okay.
Which, hey, we're still close to the 4th of July at this point, so hey, I'm wearing my in the spirit of the holidays. Well, that's right. In the spirit of the holidays past and the 250th anniversary, I'm wearing the We the People. Of course, it's more like we breast people, but I didn't expect it to be this low cut.
Yeah.
And that's why I didn't wear it to work the other day, because one of my production guys was like, really like shirts, patriarchal. Oh, you should see the other one. And then I was like, oh, yeah, I better not wear that one into work anytime soon. I mean, I can, just not when the big boss is around, because she'll be like, what are you doing?
It gives me flashbacks from the movie Empire Records. Inappropriate clothing.
Never seen it. Which is really funny because I think John Cusack might be in it. So I'm not sure if it's that one or the other one. High Fidelity is the one that he was in. Okay. Yeah, I know that Liv Tyler is in Empire Records.
Yeah.
But if I've seen it, I've only seen part of it. It happens to me when I'm watching movies. If it does not catch keep my attention, and it loses my attention for more than 3 minutes, I'm out.
I mean, it is kind of a movie about nothing. It's about a fucking record store. So
right. So
what do you expect?
Well, do you remember when
Guar in it, though.
It's been like, I don't know what, 10, 12 years or something like that, when Star Wars, like, not Phantom Menace, not The Force Awakens, but where Kylo Ren comes out. Maybe it is Force Awakens. I don't know. The one where Kylo Ren comes out and, spoiler alert,
it's a one you bitch.
Somebody dies. The one where Harrison Ford dies or whatever.
Okay.
Not Layla, but Hans dies. Okay, so that one. So my ex and I went to that movie theater. We did not end up sitting next to each other. And next thing I know, he comes over to me and he's just like, you need to wake up. I'm like, what? I'd fallen asleep and I was snoring. And when I opened my eyes and look around, everybody's looking at me like really angry. I'm like, oh my God.
Well, you didn't ruin the movie.
I did not ruin the movie, but what's super funny is the guy who was next to me, apparently I'd been snoring and was asleep on his shoulder. And my ex was just like, do you want to take my seat? And he was like 7 rows ahead of me. And so, and I was just like, I'm fine. He doesn't care. I'm fine. But yeah, I'm not a Star Wars per se.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy some of it. My favorite thing about them are the Jawas and the Ewoks and Chewbacca's. But it's not, I mean, it's cool to a degree, but it's just not my thing.
Yeah.
That's okay. I mean, I'll argue Harry Dresden's better any day of the week. Any day of the week. And Harry would argue that Star Wars is better any day of the week. But, yeah. So anyways, I've been listening to, speaking of Dresden, because there's nothing to read right now. Outlaw, they don't, at the book, his new little novella. Have you read it yet?
Outlaw. Yeah. I listened to it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, don't give me any spoilers, okay? But I have to wait for it. I'm like, I don't know if I'm 18th or 28th in line, but I'm some 10th in line, because when I thought I'd held it before, I didn't click the actual button. It was just sitting there. Do you want to? And I'm like, shit. So I got to wait. So, and I don't want to go pick up books, and I don't want to buy books right now. I've been looking for them used, and it's just like, I can't find them. And
yeah.
So, but that's okay. So when I'm here by myself in the office before I go to my other job, my regular job, I was just like, oh yes, Dagda gave me is letting me borrow his audibles, or letting yes, they were paid for. No, it's not a typed copy. It was actually paid for, that you own, and I'm listening to them.
Yeah.
Make that really clear for anybody who wants to be, weird. So I was just like, okay, where in the story do I want to go? And I was just like, I want to see the difference, because the last one I'd actually listened to was Blood Rights, because we couldn't find it anywhere. We couldn't find it on hardback. Couldn't even find it on Amazon to buy.
Yeah.
And they had no ebook for it, and they had no Audible for it through the library system. So that's how I ended up borrowing yours to listen to. So I was just like, I want to go forward in time, because I really like the progression of the story. Probably about, I mean, like, really, I wanted to avoid the Susan Rodriguez affair. So what was the one before Ghost Story?
Changes.
So Changes. So I started at Changes because I knew that was when the introduction of certain characters and more character development was happening, because I really wanted to hear Ghost Story, but I didn't want my brain to be in a fog and be like, wait, what just happened? Why is he so... Yeah. So I went ahead and I started with Changes, because I'm like, this is a really good timing. I don't have to listen to James Marsters talk about, Karen.
Was it content?
Karen, yeah, I don't have to listen to his sex story with Susan, and I don't have to listen to him, Kincaid, and Karen laying there and like her panties, everything coming off down to her panties, and him being lustful. But I didn't have to listen to any of that. I just wanted to get caught up on the emotion and where it was at, because obviously the one we just read was 12 months, which my heart is still broken.
Yeah.
Battleground and 12 months. I've just, it kills me. Right. So anyways, I listened to Changes, and I'm just like, okay. And it's really interesting when you listen to it versus reading it. Because when you're really engrossed in something, sometimes your brain will skip over words.
Yeah.
And it'll be like, oh, okay, that makes a whole lot more sense as to why he did this thing in Changes, versus like I didn't catch the point where Susan was going to become a full-on Red Court vampire. I missed that when I was reading. I thought that it was because she was the last in the line of them. So it's a huge part of it. So I missed what she had done to Martin. And it's not that I'd missed what she'd done to Martin. It was I had missed the telepathy that Harry had used. I thought they were actually having a conversation when I read it, and it wasn't something that was being telepathically communicated. Him egging her on about Martin.
I'm pretty sure he just says that.
Nope. Listen to it again, because he used the same trick he used with Elaine. And that's why he said, I was hoping she heard me, because I had to think, so that he goes, I knew it was wrong, and I knew that I could be creating something, making something happen, that he knew he was pressing something, but it was the only way, because he needed the opening. Because he was down, Bonnie was down, or not Bonnie. So anyways, so Ghost Story. Obviously, I've read it before. And what's interesting is I'm on just getting ready to start chapter 50. And there's only 51 chapters in this whole Audible. And so chapter 49, and I know you don't know it like that, but he's in Molly's mind fight. He's in her mental fight against the corpse taker.
Yeah.
And it's funny, because I remember when I read the book, I was reading it so fast, and I mean like fast, that I think I was skipping every fifth word. So I had totally forgotten Molly's hand in what happened to Dresden and all of that. And it was just, for some reason, when I read the book, I thought it was like, a suspected thing, or she had figured it out before Karen did. I didn't realize the part she played. It just went over my head.
Don't look at that box.
Yeah.
What's in the box?
Yeah, it was like this part I didn't realize that she played, because it was just like, sometimes when you're reading the Dresden Files, some of it really is, he'll be talking about like a memory. And then it'll be like, then he's talking present term, and then he'll refer back to the memory. And it's like, and I'm not stupid, it doesn't confuse me like that. But when I'm really voraciously reading, and I'm just like, I've got to know, I'll miss things. So I am just obsessed with listening to this in the morning before I go to work. I have a complete routine and schedule I do now. I go to bed between 10:30 and 10:45 at night. My alarm is set for 6:45 in the morning, because that's about 8 hours of sleep. Sometimes I get up at 4, or like this morning, I got up at 3. but I want 2 hours of being able to listen to it because a lot of these books are 14, 16, 18 hours. So it takes a while to get through them. So
the earlier books are usually about 8 hours.
Yeah, I think that's what tripped me out because I think Blood Rights was right around that 9 or 10 hour mark.
Yeah.
And then it was like, I think Changes was one of the shorter of the newer ones. I think it was only like 12 or 14, but I think this one's like 16.
Yeah.
But what's super crazy is, so I'm listening to it this morning. The house is dead silent. I can't sleep. It just, the humidity, it just, I don't know what it was. It was too hot or whatever it was. And I'm just sitting here and I'm just crying in the dark. And and it's so funny because I can hear James Marsters just emoting all these different characters so eloquently.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so beautifully, he just does a beautiful job. And so I'm listening. So chapter 49 is where Molly discusses with Harry how he came about being dead and what happens. And it's just like, you catch these little things. And it's like, because I already knew going into it, I was like, I already know who his killer is. I already know who arranged it. I know all these different things. But it's like hearing James Marster give Molly an actual voice, giving her life is like, it's impacting me differently. It's like watching my favorite TV show.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's impacting me so differently. So I'm down to my last 2 chapters and it's just like, I'm really excited to hear the rest of the books going forward. Obviously, I'm not going to hear 12 months. I'm going to go through everything else and then I'll sign up for the Audible on the library, which has a waiting list of, I think, 32 people right now, whatever. So Saturday, I'm at work at my work job, that gives me real money. And my coworker's just like, what book are you blathering about? And I was like, what? And she goes, you're always talking about this book series. She's like, and you get really excited when you talk about it. And I said, oh, it's the Dresden Files by Jim Butcher, not James. Sorry about that. And she goes, okay, so what is it? I was just like, and I always forget to say it's urban fantasy. I always forget that. I'm like, well, okay. I was like, so Dresden, I was just like, he's a private detective, but he's a wizard. He's the only open wizard in Chicago. So it's magic, it's lore, it's all these different things. And he fights all these different people. And he's the good guy and everybody else sucks. She's just like, okay. She goes, so you've read it? I said, I've read it, but now I'm listening to it on Audible because it gives a different dimension to it. Because I said, I just love it. And she goes, yeah. She's like, she goes, I heard you talking earlier with Redacted. And she goes, and I heard you guys talking and it was just kind of curious. And I was just like, oh yeah. I was like, it's so great because you got James Marsters, who played Spike on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I was just like, he's Dresden. He does the voice to Dresden. I said he does all the voices. Yeah. But you cannot help but literally, when I hear him doing the voice of Dresden, what I see is pretty much a close version of him in Brainiac, playing Brainiac in Smallville, but really tall. You can't help but picture him. And then, of course, he's got that long duster on. So then you see a little William the Bloody go on. She goes, yeah, he just died. How do you feel about that? Now, when I tell you the world absolutely stopped in that moment, I'm not kidding. I almost got violent.
He just died.
James Marsters.
Really?
Hold on. That's what she said. And I said, I whipped around. My back was to her when we were talking. And I whipped around and I said, do not fucking lie to me about James Marsters. She goes, no, it was just in the news. And I said, no. This was just in the news about a Buffy alum, not him. And she goes, I swear to God, I just heard it 3 days ago. I was like, bitch, I will punch something if you're... I am having such a visceral reaction to this news. Yeah. That I literally kicked a tub of stuff away from me. I whip out my phone as fast as I can, and I'm going to Wikipedia as fast as I can. Because at least Wikipedia is usually updated within 24 hours, and she said he died 3 days ago. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, James Marsters did not die. I was in tears by time I was done getting to Wikipedia. And she goes, oh, I'm sorry, it's not him, it's the other guy. And I said, Giles? Yes, Giles just died. She goes, no, the other one. I said, he died months ago. Yeah. Nicholas Brendan.
Yeah.
Xander.
Yeah. Actually, we talked about that.
We did. We actually did an episode for him. And I turned around and looked at her, and I've got tears running down my face. And I was like, you bitch. She's like, I am so sorry. I'm like, think of your favorite book story that you read, and they just stop. I was just like, it's not the same. Now, I haven't heard the one where Jim Butcher actually reads.
Yeah.
And I don't know how he does, but it's not the same.
I think that's actually the law is the one that he actually reads.
Cool. Then when I get to it, whenever it comes through, I'll hear it. I just like the most visceral action. It was, and it's so funny. And she was just like, oh my God, you're like attached. I'm like, you have to understand, James Marsters is this entertainer I've been watching for most of my adult life.
Mm-hmm.
He was one of my first celebrity crushes when I was a teenager because there was nothing. Yeah, okay. Angel was, quote, hot, good looking dude.
Forehead.
Yeah, with his giant 5 head. So yeah, Angel was hot and all of that. But here comes William the Bloody, Billy Idol wannabe, and Billy Idol's a fucking rebel, and which he's still alive and kicking. You know, he's been drug free for 23 years. I just read that the other day.
And actually looks remarkably similar to when he was a teen. Well,
except for the wrinkles, yes.
Yeah.
Because
he aged well.
He's considering all the drugs.
Well, even without, but yeah, especially considering.
But I mean, he's got, for being in his 70s, he's not doing bad. So I thought you'd get a crack out of that because I literally was just like, girl, don't fuck with. I literally had picked up my phone and put your name in to start texting you that holy shit, Dresden is dead.
Yeah.
And she was just like, what the hell? I'm like, I was just like, it's so funny because I don't get attached to very many things in this life. People come and go. It is what it is. I have my handful of people that I've been, close with, or I like really respect and cherish outside of my family for years, and nothing's going to change. And, every once in a while I'll be like, oh yeah, just ask my best friend. He'll tell you I'm fucking crazy. It's fine. It's fine. It's no big deal. It's fine. And so my coworker always laughs anytime I say that because she'll be like, why are you getting upset? I'm like, because I'm fucking crazy. That's fine. And, but oh God, she goes, I thought you were gonna, I was just like, girl, I was just like, because she was just like, oh shit. She was like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, it's okay. I'm like, it's okay. She goes, he's getting up there, right? And that made me mad. I'm like, bitch, he is 64 years old. You're halfway there yourself. Be quiet. She goes, well, you're closer than me. And I said, I don't give a shit. I don't look it. But I told her, I was just like, listen, Linda. I was just like,
the papaws.
I'm going to give you some papaws across the face. I said, it's like your favorite book series is on a cliffhanger and it's just done. Like, I have a theory that maybe George R.R. Martin died 10 years ago and they're just faking it because he still hasn't finished his fucking shit.
Yeah.
But so it was really interesting at work on Saturday night because I was in a production area and people out on the sales floor heard me screaming, go, shut your fucking mouth, you liar. And she's like, I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to upset you. She goes, I swear it said that. She goes, because it's like half the Buffy cast is dead. And I went, 3 people have died. That's not half the cast. She goes, well, the important half. So then I looked it up. Half of the important cast members. Because you pretty much do have 6 or 7 primary players.
Yeah.
You've got Buffy. You've got, and you can't count Angel because he was only there for 2 seasons, so fuck him. But even if you want to count him, you've got Buffy, you've got Angel, you've got Willow, you've got Xander, and then you've got Giles. And then your next set of closer into, you've got Spike, Dawn, and Wesley. So you have 8 main players. You have 8 main players that are either there through all of the series or through most of the series. So, and even the ones that are most important as far as character development and storylines goes, you've got Buffy, you've got Willow, you've got Xander, you've got Giles, and you've got William the Bloody. You have those 5 primaries.
Okay, yeah.
So that makes the most sense. Dawn is obviously a tertiary character because she's not real. A lot of people are like, oh, she's real. She's not real. She's a figment of the imagination, but whatever. You want to argue it?
I don't know. I didn't watch the show. I watched maybe 3 episodes.
Then
I watched the actual movie, the original movie that the show is based off of.
With Luke Perry and Christy Swanson, which is so great, and Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah.
So great. So great. That's the thing is, if there's a Buffy fans out there, which I know there actually is, I know there's a lot. It's so crazy, these reactions we have. But there's people out there who didn't like Buffy, but they liked Angel, and they got really annoyed when Buffy came onto the Angel set for 2 different episodes, and they were just like, bitch. And so I kind of feel the same way about Angel though.
What was Charisma Carpenter's character?
Oh, she was Cordelia Chase.
Yeah, Cordelia.
And she was a sensitive. And she wasn't like anything spectacular in Buffy, other than being a little bit sensitive. But in Angel, she was more sensitive. And I know it's really a weird. Cordelia has always been a secondary character, and it's kind of sad the way her storyline went, because theoretically speaking, her and Xander Harris should have reconnected, because they did date for a while. But Charisma Carpenter, good actress, but man, Joss Whedon just ruined her for everything. And it's and her story's heartbreaking, because she felt so. I mean, it's when you think about it, when you look at Sarah Michelle Gellar and Allison Hannigan, they are two naturally short, petite women. Mm-hmm. I mean, so you got Charisma Carpenter, who is taller and a little bit curvier. She can't be waif-like. Mm-hmm. When you're like, I think she's like 5'7" or 5'9", and there's nothing wrong with her weight. I mean, to me, she looks teeny tiny.
Yeah.
But, Joss Whedon has this. I think he was trying to not be a dick, but I think he was trying to emulate, like, in this story, he's kind of making fun of all these waif-like girls. California's notorious for these little tiny people. And it's like, you didn't need to be a dick about it. Because I think the truth lies somewhere in the middle. Her truth is that she felt harassed by him. His truth is he was just trying to keep the character and the contract the way it was supposed to be. Then you got Sarah Michelle Gellar, who is just like, I appreciate the opportunities Wheaton gave me, but I'm going to also stand by my friend who feels this way. Mm-hmm. So the truth is always somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
Like somebody telling the boss that I told him to do something the other day and I wasn't even at work. It was amazing. The truth is somewhere in the middle. It was somewhere in his mind, but it's not in reality. So anyways, I did look it up though, because she was like, yeah, most of the people from Buffy are dead. And I was like, no. And so Buffy went off the air in 2003, 23 years ago. Yeah. Sarah Michelle Gellar isn't even 50 yet.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
It's so crazy. So you've got so Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which was built off of the concept of the first of the movie, right?
Yeah, although it was drastically different.
It was.
The general concept is the same, but it was
the basic principles are the same, yeah. Because basically Buffy Summers is supposed to be who comes after Buffy.
Okay.
Like, yeah, I don't know. There's been a couple of super fans I've talked to, and they're like, basically, Buffy Summers is supposed to be the big picture character for the Buffy you see in the movie. And I'm like, well, first of all, if we want to talk about curvaceous women, Christy Swanson is a curvaceous girl. So how we went from Christy Swanson to teeny tiny 102-pound Sarah Michelle Gellar at 5 feet tall, I don't know. But whatever. They're both beautiful women. So Buffy the Vampire Slayer ran from 1997 to 2003, and I believe it was like 202 episodes or some shit like that. Oh, wow. And so what's really interesting about it is 3 of what people consider the 8 primary characters have died. Michelle Trachtenberg died in 2025. She had a liver transplant in 2024. Her family, due to religious purposes, didn't let her have an autopsy, but they could run a toxicology. And the best toxicology could figure out was that she was having complications from diabetes. Yeah. So it was like, I don't even want to start a rumor or, things I've heard or things she was an actress. Everybody has their own problems, their own demons. Mm-hmm. To have a liver transplant at 38 years old is kind of scary, but body parts sometimes just don't last your whole life.
Yeah.
So she died in 2025. And then we've got Nicholas Brendan, who died earlier this year at 54 years old. He actually had a heart attack in 2022, and they diagnosed him with a cardiovascular disease. And so he passed naturally, what they feel is naturally this year from heart and cardiac issues. Mm-hmm. And it is, like that poor guy, and everybody knew that he had alcohol and drug issues.
Yeah.
Mostly alcohol, which is, it's not any better, but he apparently had a surgery done and ended up having spinal fluid leak in 2022 because his spinal cord got nicked, and it was just downhill from there for him, which is super crazy. And then of course the one we lost most recently, just a few weeks ago was Anthony Stewart Head, who played, of course, Giles.
Yeah.
And he was only 72 years old. And, you know, when you read the story about him dying, you really kind of think maybe he died a little bit more of a broken heart than anything else. Because his partner of 44 years was Sarah Fisher. She died this last December 2025. She died. And then he died almost exactly 6 months later from complications from pneumonia. Leaves 2 kids behind. You know, it's so crazy.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's interesting that, you know, we all still, people who follow Buffy, people who love Buffy, we have our favorites. William the Bloody has been mine. And I think that was one of the reasons why I was very resistant to listening to the audibles at first when you first talked to me about it and said, you know, that James Marster guy does it. Because first, when you said James Marsters, you didn't say Marsters, you said James Masters. Years ago, you said James Masters.
Okay.
And the person I pictured was Cyclops.
Yeah.
Because his name is James Marsden. That's who I thought you were trying to say. And I'm like, okay, I don't really want to listen to Cyclops drone on and on. But, dude, like, I would recommend anybody in a heartbeat to, you know, my coworker, she's like, my mommy,
Hi, Mommy.
Mommy is like, I think I have to check out. I think I have to read this, a little bit about this, because to me, I know you're saying it's urban fantasy, but that's not what it is to me. Obviously, it's fantasy. Duh. Wizards aren't real anymore. Duh. I'm not stupid. But it's just like, to me, it's just a good old story of a guy wanting to do good for the world.
Just the good old boys.
Never made enough. Well, the reason I say that is because, you know, so when you're listening to Ghost Story, you actually get what happened when he ran away from Jeffrey DeMorn.
Yeah.
He tells the story about what really happens and how he knows he's got so much evil in his heart. But you can see that is the turning point for him, from whether he's going to just do what he needs to do to survive or he's going to do better. When you hear the story about the he who walks behind.
Yeah.
Which is, Marsters did such a good, James, you did such a wonderful job with that. He who walks behind. It was like, creepy. Anyways, but we all have our favorites from Buffy, and I've heard people talk over the time here and there, like, could Spike come back? No, but Spike can't come back. He's been burned by the sun. He made the ultimate sacrifice to save the world because Buffy couldn't.
Okay.
Yeah, like him and Angel were fighting over who was going to do it, and William the Bloody did it. Oh, he's ready. So good. But why I love James Marsters, an actor, is that I was so pleasantly surprised that each one of these characters is so different.
Yeah.
He does absolute justice to Molly and Butters, and I don't know if you've caught on to it, but when he's speaking as Molly, she's evolved from this constant teenage angst to this grown woman who is like, it's, try not to give too much away, but I really don't care because it's my spoiler alert and haha. But you can hear her going from this teenage angst where everything's Harry to now it's just like she's actually standing up for herself in a way. She's like, you understand what doing this is going to do to me. It's not all about you, Harry. You have to understand the sacrifices I'm making too. So it's really interesting because you can tell how the scene's going to go, how the chapter's going to go by the voice. Because you can hear it when it's something that's going to almost come across as devastating or heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But the humor's there too. It's so great.
Yeah. I
feel like I should offer you a cigarette now. You've officially been in me. I literally paused the audible and rewound it and went, did I just hear what I thought I heard?
Yeah.
So anyway, Buffy. So they were supposed to revamp Buffy. They were going to reboot Buffy.
Okay.
So they actually filmed a pilot with Sarah Michelle Gellar as, you know, Buffy, and this other girl, some Canadian actress, as the new Buffy or whatever, the new girl.
Slayer.
So it was supposed to be called Buffy, the Vampire Slayer, the new Vampire Slayer, or some shit like that. So, the Vampire Slayer, New Sunnydale. There we go. So the pilot was ordered by Hulu. They filmed it, and then Hulu said, and Sarah Michelle Gellar got super excited. She's like, yeah, this is going to be so fun. And then like 2 days later, she's like, well, Hulu didn't pick it up. Does that mean somebody else will pick it up? I don't know. Because you got all these networks and all these different filming companies that'll do these pilots or like up to 4 episodes, and they'll basically shop it for other, like, they're like, oh, this is just out of our budget and we don't have that kind of an audience based on their algorithm. So I think it would be interesting if somebody else picked it up, but I wasn't impressed with the cast of characters. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, but that's just me. And it has nothing to do with Canadian actors or actresses. You know, it has to do with when you're looking in that world. It would be like them rebooting, what's the space cowboy one you like?
Oh, Firefly?
Firefly. It's like them rebooting Firefly, and it's the Mal and the Hooker's kid or something. And it's like, who could they get to do that? Like Charlie Hall or something, where he's kind of doofy. It'd be like, no. Or Alan Tudyk coming back and being just like, I'm not this character anymore. I've evolved. It's like, hey. But anyways.
I mean, they were working on doing a cartoon, a Firefly cartoon.
Yeah.
And like the majority of the original cast were all down for it. And they were trying to do, what's it called? Like public.
Kickstarter?
Yeah, like Kickstarter for it. And basically, from if I remember correctly, they had everything lined up except for like the what's it called? The people who would be
producers
hosting it.
Mm-hmm.
So like they didn't have like a Netflix or.
Okay, network. Okay, so the network provider. Gotcha.
Yeah.
It's really interesting because I think Netflix would do quite well to reboot something like Firefly, mm-hmm. but give it a whole new cast. And if you got to have Nathan Fillion involved in it, he could be like, you know, how I Met Your Mother. He could be like the narrator of it. So these are my adventures when I was a kid or whatever. You know, I don't know. It's
Dexter's dad in Dexter.
Yeah, like you've got all these different ways to do it. And I mean, it's kind of the same broke-ass formula, but I mean, again, it's repurposing old ideas, and that gets kind of annoying at the same time.
Yeah.
But, you know, you've got Firefly and Serenity. They're kind of standalones, you know, hand in hand. And it's just like, I don't like the idea of they're going to do something 30 years later.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't get it. But so while doing a little bit of Buffy research, I actually found out there is a South Korean writer, originally from South Korea, adopted and raised in the States. And her name is Kendari Blake. And she wrote inspired from the same universe as Buffy. She wrote a trilogy. And it's called, the first book is In Every Generation. The second one is called One Girl in All the World. And then the third one is called Against the Darkness. So it's all Buffy inspired. And the girl is apparently like Willow's daughter.
Okay.
Right? Okay. So what's interesting about this is in 2021, Disney Hyperion bought the rights to the trilogy. So Disney is sitting on these rights right now to that actual, like, basically it's supposed to be like the next evolution in Buffy. It's in the Buffyverse. It's like the next evolution. And I'll read the books eventually, I'm sure. I got to get over my addiction with Dresden, which might take 10 decades. I don't know. But it's really interesting because the descriptors that I read, like the little synopsis that I read, I'm like, this could actually be really good and do a real justice to the original Buffy idea. Because Buffy was, I don't know, the thing I loved about Buffy the Vampire Slayer is it was campy, it was funny, and it was just Sarah Michelle Gellar just hold everything with such grace. Like, and it's very, you weren't raised a girl, so you can't quite understand it. But when we were younger, thank God, I would not like you if you were a girl. I'd be like, listen here, you know-it-all bitch, go away. But like when we were younger, Gen Xers, when we were younger, we didn't have a whole lot of, when we were younger, we had, you know, Wonder Woman. But Wonder Woman also ran around in a bikini with her magic bracelets, talking for truth and justice.
And her magic rope.
And her lasso of truth.
Yeah.
It's not a magic rope, it's her lasso of truth.
Yeah, it's a magic rope.
And her invisible plane, where people could just see her sitting down, riding around. Like, what happens when you gotta poop? Whatever. So we didn't have, like, and then we've got the Wonder Twins, like there's the girl there. We didn't have a whole lot until the X-Men came in, and then we had a large variety. But even then, we didn't have a whole lot of, we're not the most powerful people on the planet, but
You bitches had Ripley.
yeah, but you also have to remember at that time, those are movies I couldn't watch as a kid. I wasn't old enough. So by the time you get old enough to watch more mature themes where you can see strong women like Ripley,
Yeah.
it's like I'm a fucking adult living my life, That's what I liked about Buffy was so campy because she was just like, I can't do this. I'm a girl. That's how it starts out. And then it's like, oh, I can't do this because I'm a girl. Okay. And then she's just killing everything left and right. And by the end of it, she's like, I can do this because I'm a girl. And I like that evolution of the character where she goes from being kind of diminutive and I'm just a 16-year-old high school student and I can't do nothing, tee-hee, to ass kicker.
Yeah.
Because, guys, you guys have all had that. You guys got the Lone Ranger. You've got the Incredible Hulk. You got all those guys.
I mean, it's far more likely for a guy to fucking think that way than a girl to begin with. And that's just why it's fucking art follows life, not the other way around.
Yeah.
So that's why you have all the fucking superhero characters. First of all, 99% of fucking people buying comic books are dudes, so they're not going to write for fucking girls because they're not selling.
It's not quite 99%, but fair.
Well, especially like when I was a kid.
Well, yeah, when you were a kid, it was definitely 98.9.
And so when people complain about this sort of stuff, I'm like, it's the way reality works, man.
Yeah.
You're not going to have fucking 10 billion movies about black people because there aren't 10 billion black actors or 10 billion fucking black people in America watching the fucking movie, so it's not going to sell, therefore you're not going to have that many making it. But now that you're getting more and more of them involved with the industry, they're starting to, well, they've been doing it for a while, but it's starting to become more prevalent where there's black directors making movies for black people because, well, there's black directors who want to fucking do that.
Yeah. And a lot of people want to bypass the fact just because he does a lot of comedic things.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people want to downplay Tyler Perry, who has been a strong force in the black community and black actors.
He's made a ton of movies. And
for the last 25, 30 years. Yeah. He is a strong individual man. I don't really, look, I don't really care what color your skin is, but if we're going to look at that, we need to put you have to look at the Sidney Poitier. Poitiers? Poitier. I don't know how to say it because I'm not French. Sidney Poitier.
Yeah,
and you've got to look at Sidney.
I do it poorly.
Right. I don't English well all the time. It's like my downfall.
Yeah.
But you have to look at that. You have to look at the Denzels and the.
Which one is it, Key or Peele, that are making a bunch of movies now?
So you've got Jordan Peele, who does a lot of writing and directing.
Yeah.
And he is, oh my God.
Killing it.
He's been killing it for better part of a decade.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the skits that you see on Key and Peele are his primary idea. And I'm not taking anything away from Keegan-Michael Key. I think he's great because he does more commercials. Awesome. But yeah, Keegan-Michael Key's actually probably had more starring roles. But Jordan Peele is really going behind the scenes and going, because I firmly believe, just from the little bits and pieces I've seen from Jordan Peele, is he's like, it's not a black thing, it's not a white thing. It's like, it's a human thing. I mean, and he's got some good movies out there.
That's one of my pet peeves. Is just make a good movie. And he does that.
Yeah.
He's been making fucking awesome movies, regardless of what orientation or color, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan Coogler, also a great director up and coming. He did the Black Panther series for MCU. You've got great actors out there who just don't get, a lot of people, because he slapped The Rock, you get a lot of people going, oh, Will Smith, let's not talk about him. Will Smith has had this.
He slapped The Rock?
Yeah, Chris Rock. Not The Rock. Sorry, my bad. But that's been hilarious.
That would have been a completely bad situation.
Dude, the news is not.
He's dead. The people moved on fucking food. Did you just slap The Rock?
Breaking news on CNN and everywhere. The Rock's fist goes straight through Will Smith's face.
And then Will Smith got teabagged and The Rock said, do you smell what the Rock?
Sorry, the Chris Rock. Let me correct myself there.
Would have been completely.
it'd have been a completely different story and outcome, that's for sure. But, but people also downplay him. And, it's just like he's had this prolific career for 33 years. Fresh Prince, he starts out as a musical entertainer, and then he does, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and then he moves into movies, and he's done all kinds of movies. Yeah. And I'd read an article a couple years ago about, even though it didn't do so great, Wild Wild West was one of his favorite movies to do because it was a Western and it was a diverse cast. And it was, so it's just like, but I can also remember years ago when people were like, Denzel Washington's and everything, Sam Jackson's and everything. And it's just like, you got to go back and look at some of these people's careers. Like I think Sam Jackson's one of the African-American actors who was on Welcome Back, like the Welcome Back Kotter range in there. He's been in like
forever. Yeah.
And it's like, and it just annoys me because people are like, oh, they're such sellouts when they're doing commercial. Okay, so Denzel Washington was involved in the Boys and Girls Club of America when he was a kid. And it's what kept him out of the gangs. He flat out says, it is what kept me out of a gang life. It's what made me do better. Yeah. So when he did all of his ad campaigns promoting them all pre-COVID, everyone was like, oh, what a sellout. Oh, what a sellout. And I'm like, but he's being true to something in his life that inspired him. And, and I love the fact that he's never let it bother him when people are like, oh, he's just a sellout. Just like, MC Hammer getting called a sellout for doing Taco Bell commercials. And everybody's just like,
fucking, what was it? It was a credit card commercial. And they made fun of his life in that commercial because they're like showing him at his prime. And then they're showing him like getting everything repossessed and shit in the commercial.
Is it the one where like the gate ends up closing and he's working on a construction site with Vanilla Ice?
I think so.
Yeah, I think it's like Capital One or something. Yeah. That's the thing about life. You got to make fun of it. But
yeah.
So anyways, Buffy, let me finish up with Buffy because
getting sidetracked.
I literally, I love that coworker. That is my favorite person to work with. That like legit. Well, I mean, I have one other person who's my favorite person to work with, but we got to kind of be on the DL about it because we don't need rumor mills going on. Bunch of bullshit. Why do you like him so much better than me? I don't know because he's not a whiny bitch and he just does his fucking job. I don't know. But it's funny because here's the thing. There's only two people who's suspicious of me and my actual favorite person to work around, right? And you know who it is. You've met him.
Yeah.
He's fine. I mean, not like, ooh, he's fine. Not like that. Like, he's fine. He's a great guy to talk to. Whatever. I mean, he's a little bit of ego, but not in a big go do your job doesn't solve, right? So nobody suspects anything about anything except for the two people who are most insecure about what they do. And it's about the guy I was telling you earlier about.
Yeah.
Who he's suspicious of everybody. He purposefully will show new people how to do things wrong so that he looks better. And then there's one manager that works for the company, and she's the same way. She's just not happy unless everybody's miserable. She literally, so this last Saturday, I get it. It's Saturday, but it's my Friday. Saturday's my Friday. And I'm like, happy Friday, and I'm joyous about it because it's just like, fuck, I made it through another week. Yay. Because sometimes that's how it is when you're working for a company where despite how they sell themselves, they're all about money. They're not about anything else. It's not about anything else. Yeah. And, she was just like, oh, it's only my Tuesday. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. It's most of our Fridays back here. And she'd said to me before, like, I don't know, probably half hour before she left, because I was just like, yeah, you're out of here at 3:30, right? Oh, no, I'm off at 2:30 today. And I'm like, oh. And I can explain to you off mic how I know what's going on because I know the boss is sick of it, but it's neither here nor there. And I told her, I was just like, if every day could be like today, I was like, yeah, we've got a couple of irritating. We've got situation A with Nike Girl, and we got situation B earlier this week with Mr. Glass. I was like, we got these two situations. I was just like, but take those two things out. I was like, look how happy we all are. Everybody's helping everybody and everything's getting done. And every day should be like this. And she's just like, you're really not faking it, are you? And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm so fucking tired of life being miserable. Why not make it happy? And even if I'm miserable, I've got the podcast to talk to you about it. I've got my best friend. I've got all these things in my life that give me an outlet. I mean, not everything we talk about makes it, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, not everything we talk about makes it onto mic, because then people will be like, oh, I can drive right to your house tomorrow. we don't want that. So anyway, so Buffy, I was really sad to hear that they canceled the reboot, because I am a Buffy fan.
Yeah.
I like the fact that it's like there's many lessons to be learned from the series. Like, it's not that hard to be a decent human being. Yeah. Don't jump on everybody else's back. Don't take advantage of people. So I love that. I thought it was a really strong character. I did almost punch somebody in their face telling me James Marsters died. James Marsters is alive and well, and 64 is young in my book. Okay? James Marsters, you are not allowed to die anytime in the next
30 years.
I was going to say 30, but he does drink. He used to drink a bit at least. How about we compromise with 25 years? You need to finish the complete Dresden Files and then the Dresden Files TV series, which will probably go on for about 10 years. So then he can retire.
Okay.
And so how about he just lives 30 years past his retirement? Like, he's amazing. Like, but yeah. So you almost got a text message going, oh, before I looked at it, because I was so panicked and I was in tears. And what happens when I'm in tears? It doesn't matter what day of the week or time it is. I will text you and I'll be like, I'm so frustrated. I'm so upset. But James Marsters lives. I mean, definitely R.I.B. Trachtenberg, Nicholas Brendan, Giles dying. That one threw me for a loop. Because there was a popular TV show he was on. He was recently in some movies. So it just blew me away. Because, he wasn't, Anthony Stewart Head wasn't just an actor. He was also a singer, a musician. He did theater. He did a little bit of, he should have been an EGOT winner, honestly.
So he was a junior Michael Lee.
I mean, he was just a dude of all trades. And it was just, I don't know, I was really shocked when I read that Giles had passed away. Wasn't shocked with, and I'm being honest here, because, I am old enough that I've actually read over the years. I wasn't shocked by Michelle Trachtenberg. I was not shocked by Nicholas Brendan. I mean, a little bit, but not a whole lot, because I knew they both had other issues behind them. But Anthony Stewart Head, I was just like, and I was really hoping this reboot would happen and that he would be there at least for a couple episodes with Sarah Michelle Gellar, no matter what person it was, because the reboot was going to be like based on her daughter being the next Slayer, I believe.
Well, didn't they have a replacement for Giles already in the show?
Well, that was Wesley.
That was
Allison Hannigan's husband.
Yeah, that she married afterwards.
Yeah, Alexis Danzanoff. Yes, but it's not. I don't. You have to really be a true Buffy. And let me tell you something. It is fucking hard to watch Buffy now. Because of the evolution of our, 1080p and 4K Ultra, 5K Ultra.
You're going to be watching it in the letterbox or whatever instead of the widescreen stuff.
It's just weird because it's fun. What's really interesting about trying to watch old Buffy now is it's like trying to remember a dream from last night where you don't know all the details. It's a little fuzzy. Because I tried recently to watch some more, and I was just like Angel. Like, I love the Angel music, and rip Aidan Quinn who died. He was, or the guy who played Quinn or whatever. Anyways, he played one of the.
Was he the singing demon, or was he?
No, but R.I.P. to him too.
So yeah, because he was in the first couple of episodes, the dude with the spikes that came out of his face.
Well, Lauren, that character's name is Lauren.
Dude.
But yeah, the Irish dude was there for all of season 1 and just a couple of episodes in season 2.
And then he died.
And then he died in real life.
Actually died, yeah.
Yeah, he actually died. What's interesting is he played Mark Healy in the Roseanne Barr show, Roseanne. He played Becky's husband in Roseanne. And it was like connecting these dots sometimes is a really fun game to me. But yeah.
Did he star in anything with Kevin Bacon?
I don't know, but I know within at least 6 degrees he knew him.
Yeah.
Damn it. You say Kevin Bacon and there was just this commercial with Kevin Bacon. Shit, I'll have to look it up and we'll have to talk about it because it was hilarious. It was hilarious. Because it's talking about the days of the week and do you know that this day is now Bacon Day or some shit like that. It's hilarious. Anyways, so coworker, I love you to death. She's my favorite person to work with besides one other person. We have a good time all the time. And it's really interesting because sometimes you have to, how do I say this nicely? Because I don't want you to come off weird. She's literally the female version of you.
Oh, okay.
Literally, only she's actually smarter than you. And I don't mean that like, oh, you're so stupid. I don't mean it like that. I mean like...
I know several people who are obviously smarter than me.
Me too. No, I mean it in the sense like if you sit there and give her a task and she actually thinks about it, she can set her phone down and she'll bop her head a couple of times and all of a sudden she'll start writing. She writes like Chat GPT. She's very smart. And, you know, and she's so funny because I say to her all the time, I'm like, you're so smart. Why are you doing this? I understand why she does it. With her kids having disabilities, she needs the flexibility. And it's really funny because she reminds me of somebody too. She's like, I'm too lazy to get a different job. I'm like, oh, I get that because I get complacent too.
Yeah.
And but she's super smart, reminds me of you, and I think that's why I like working with her so well but we influence each other, which is I find funny because when I first started working there, she only wore black on black on black, and now she's wearing pinks and oranges and stuff. And
she's becoming a bubblegum goth. Bubblegum goth?
I don't think so, but I think that her seeing, like, you've got two managers that dress very similarly. The other two managers. I know you know all my managers.
Yeah.
So the one I'm talking about, her and I dress more like the same, where we might be, you know, in the darker colors, but tank tops. We're always in tank tops. Y'all just don't know. You just don't know like what it's like to be a curvy girl, big titties. It's horribly hot.
I figured you wanted to be a member of the gun show.
My chicken wing gun show, baby. I like showing off my tattoos, so there you go.
Yeah.
But the other two managers actually dress more similarly to each other. They wear a lot of jeans all the time, and then they wear their shirts with the floral prints or what. So it's really interesting because it's like I'm looking for shorts that I can wear to work. But not just any shorts, like yoga shorts, because I remember saying to her, aren't you cold? And she's like, no. She's just like, she goes, aren't you hot with what you're wearing? Because I used to wear jeans all the time. And I was just like, yeah, I'm fucking miserably hot. Like, dude, the fourth time I got swamp ass, I was just like, something's got to change.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you understand. You work in a very warm environment.
Yep.
And I can tell by the end of the day what guys are getting swamp balls. I can tell. Because they go around from walking normal to all of a sudden they kind of got that A-frame walk where they're like they got two broken legs. Just teetering back and forth.
It's like somebody who's been horseback riding for 50 years.
Right, exactly. But yeah, James Marster lives.
Long live James Marsters.
Long live James Marsters.
And Jim Butcher. Oh,
yeah. You know, and like I tried reading his kids' stuff. I just can't right now. I have an issue with the kid doing the titles the same way his dad does. I have an issue with that because it's like, I can understand giving an homage to your parent, but making it, I don't know. I got through like one chapter of his first book and I was just like, oh, so you're like the anti-hero, super depressed Dresden. Sweet. I love Dresden because he has just enough self-deprecation. And he has just enough, like when it dawns on Dresden that he's got something going on for him, he's like, yeah, take out that guy. He's looking so good for me. So I don't know, you could tell he'd had one too many drinks and he had another and another. No, just shut the I have a real hard time with depressing writing. But anyways, Long Jim James Marsters.
Long Jim James Marsters?
I'm pretty sure that too. There's rumors out there in the Twitter sphere about him. So anyways.
Wow.
Have you seen the hands on that, man?
Nope, but I've seen his feet. Anybody.
I've seen his eyes. What you do? How did you do?
Yeah, anyway.
There was this one time, what?
No, there was a similar myth about if you have big feet, you got big meat.
You did not just say if you have big feet, you got big meat.
Yes, I did.
Now you're going to have David Boreanaz sitting there going, man, don't show my boots on TV because they're half the size of Spike's. Good job. Giving men a complex. Good job.
Any fucking way.
Look, I know the science behind the hand thing, okay? I know the science behind it.
It's my strong hand.
My penis will be bigger than yours.
Yep.
Oh, my notes. Okay. I thinking about that the other day. I was just like, man. So while I'm listening to Dresden and he's tearing himself down about something, he was tearing himself down about something to do with women and about not being very good with the opposite sex or some shit like that. And I'm like, oh, poor Mr. Minuscule. And then I went, oh, Dagda. Like 6 o'clock in the morning, I'm listening to it. So
Yeah.
Everybody has a great day.
Yeah.
James Marsters.
Indeed.
Forever and ever.
Later.
Bye. Okay, everybody. That's all the time we have for today. So I want to thank you for stopping by to enjoy the conversation. We're glad you're here, and please share and share again and share some more. And if you haven't already, subscribe. We'll be having another chat and another cup soon. We'll talk to you then. Look forward to seeing you.